Hello, வணக்கம் என் உயிரினும் மேலான இனிய தமிழ் மக்களே எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? This is your host Venki with another episode of Southern Spice Tamil Radio, which has been on air since 2004 on Radio Zindagi on 1310 AM in Parsippany, New Jersey, 96.7 FM in Edison, and 540 AM in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and also streaming live on Southern Spice USA YouTube channel and RJ Winky channel on Facebook. So, in our series of interviews that I've been conducting over the past several months with high schoolers across the USA who have done something significantly different from just academics or sports, right? Something that's very socially oriented and something that's not the traditional beaten path. They're doing something different and something very useful for society. So, in the series of gifted gabbers and overachievers today, we have Nuha. She's a passionate creative writer and a dedicated Girl Scout. Nuha Sayeed has been chasing challenges from a very young age, whether it's in sports, academics, or extracurriculars. She's always seeking adventure and looking for opportunities to push herself to her limits and learn from her environment. So that's a brief introduction. So without further ado, let's bring Nuha. Hello, how are you? Welcome to Southern Spice.
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Great. So nice to have you on a bright, beautiful morning from Southern California, Nuha. How's the
hmm
weather out there?
It's pretty sunny today, actually. It was cloudy for like one day, but
Okay, cool, cool. So it's exciting to have someone like you on Southern Spice. Um, so you work in the Girl Scouts and Gold Award areas. Why don't you talk to us about more about yourself? Give a kind of a brief introduction.
yeah, absolutely. My name is Nuha, and I'm a senior in high school. I'm Muslim American. I'm very passionate about medicine as well. I have been a Girl Scout for 9 years, and I'm currently working on my Gold Award project. Um,
Mhm.
I also love creative writing, and I'm super involved in the theater program at my school, and I'm just really excited to be here. Yeah.
Terrific, terrific. So tell us more about the Girl Scouts and the Gold Award. I'm kind of very curious to know what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Girl Scouts, obviously, it's the program. Everybody knows like the girls that sell cookies and stuff. But I think that for me, Girl Scouts was really important because it gave me so many opportunities to explore different areas that I was interested in. And I feel like I've been able to dip my hands into literally anything that I've ever been interested in and get to know more about all these different topics and actually be able to choose that, oh, I think medicine is what I want to do in my future. And the Gold Award was a really it's an exciting opportunity for me to put together a project that something that I really care about, like a passion project, and be able to have the opportunity to like spread it to so many different people. So I decided to start a project called the Matters of the Mind and Heart Initiative,
Mhm.
which is just basically I'm trying to educate Muslim communities about mental health.
Whoa. Okay. So, is the issue of mental health among the Muslim community an issue? And I mean, is that something that's that needs attention at this point?
I think yes,
Mhm.
because I've known many people who have struggled with mental health disorders who feel very unsupported by their families, their communities, and a lot of them have told me too that had they received like support from their mosque community specifically, then they would have felt better equipped to deal with the issues that they started facing as they got older. And I think that a lot of immigrant and traditional families also don't really know how to approach the topic of mental health, and they often just times see mental health issues as in like a negative light because of perpetuated stigma that we've gotten from generations ago. But for me personally, I mean, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that you know sorry, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that didn't really have a stigma around mental health, and we talked about it more. But I've noticed that that's not really the norm, and I just wanted to make sure that other people kind of got the experience that I had, where I'm in tune with like mental health and being able to talk about it, and I don't feel like it's something I have to be ashamed of.
Sure, sure. And working on it has probably also shaped your own views, right, on mental health and faith.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me personally, it was hard for me to get past this idea that like anxious and upset feelings, um, that they would be tied directly to how often or like how much I'm practicing my faith at a certain time. Cause I feel like I put on the hijab like 2 years ago, or sorry, 1 year ago, and it didn't magically like cure all my worries. And I realized because of that that there's more to taking care of your mental health than just throwing yourself headfirst into your faith. You know, there's also like just taking time for yourself, journaling, things like that. It's not just how much Quran you read or how much you pray. That's not the only thing you can do.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you see as the biggest stigma, right, or misconception about mental health in the among the Muslim youth, right? And how does your initiative particularly address it?
Yeah, I think the biggest stigma is definitely the idea that mental health issues only happen if you aren't praying enough. Because clearly, I mean, that isn't true. And it invalidates people struggling with mental health disorders such as anxiety or depression, or even neurodivergent conditions such as ADHD. Because, devotion and faith, it always helps, but it doesn't completely fix every issue. Praying more isn't going to be able to make you focus more, just immediately make you happier. You have to take care of yourself too for those things to happen. And I think that the easiest example of that is the prophet himself, because even though he was the most devoted among like any human, he still went through a period of depression in his life. And if the prophet, who's the most perfect human in that sense, I mean, if he could struggle with mental health too, of course the rest of us will.
Most certainly, yeah. And for that kind of understanding to come to someone at your age at a high school level is pretty mature and very deep. So you personally, Nuha, you spoke about your Girl Scout project earlier, right? Matters of the mind and heart. Yeah. So that's what you're currently fully focused on. And what phase of the project are you working on currently, and where are you with it?
Yeah, I just finished getting my project approved actually, because Girl Scouts has a very specific way of getting the Gold Award project approved. It takes a long time because you have to fill out all this information. You have to know every single little detail of how you're going to be doing it. You need to know how you're going to approach the issue. You have to explain how or why it's an actual issue. How you're going to make sure that there's, you know, how you're going to like retain it afterwards, the sustainability aspect of the project, where all of your materials and information are going to come from. You also have to know like your budget, almost exactly. So you have to write like your whole proposal and explain the validity of the issue that you're addressing. And it honestly took me about a full year to think through and fully submit my proposal because I wanted to make sure it was perfect. And I got approved, I think last month, yeah, in September.
Oh, nice.
So
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm just starting off with my project now.
Beautiful. And pardon me, I don't think I asked you this before. Which are you in your senior year, or which year are you in high school?
Yeah, I'm in my senior year right now.
Okay, okay. All right. So what are the next steps then? So you got your project approved and you're in your senior year, so you have a very short runway before you head out to college, correct?
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to get my project done before March, or
Mm.
I'm trying to get it done before January. But as long as I get it done before March, I can be awarded my gold award and my pin and everything, and I can wear it at graduation. So I'm really excited for that. But the next steps are I'm going to start researching the content that I'm including in these presentations that I'm going to be giving at the Sunday school that I volunteer at, and I'm just going to be teaching those kids with those presentations about, fun facts about mental health and just how to approach those topics, how to talk about mental health with friends, with family, and also how mental health connects to Islam specifically. And I'm going to be using like Quranic quotes referencing mental health and hadiths, which are quotes from the Prophet about mental health, because I think there's a lot, but I think it's something that we don't talk too much about in Sunday school, or as much as we should, at least. And I think after putting all that information into those presentations, I'm going to be presenting at the Sunday school, and I'm also going to record those presentations and make little, like a Google Drive with
Mm.
all of the information, those presentations, and like little teaching guides. And I'm going to share them to other Sunday schools and Islamic schools so that they can also teach their kids. So it's not just going to the kids that I know, but also it can be anyone across the country that can access that information. And I'm also going to create an Instagram page because I think that people use social media so much these days. It'll be easy to get that information out there and for people to see it more often if it's, as something as simple as an Instagram post. So I'm going to be putting kind of the same information from those slideshows, just smaller and like nice graphics and everything onto an Instagram page. And there'll be a link in the pamphlets that I'll give out and also in the presentations. And hopefully that just gains the project more traction and more people can learn.
Wow. Nuha, to do all of this, you need multiple heads and hands. Are you flying solo or do you have a team?
I definitely have a team. That's actually
Okay.
another requirement of the project, that you have a team that you're leading. So I have my project advisor, who is my former Sunday school teacher, and a licensed psychologist. And both of them will be reviewing all the information I gather in my presentations. And they're just going to make sure there aren't any inaccuracies. All of the stuff is like sourced from good spaces and stuff like that. Then I have a friend who offered to be a graphic designer for me, and another that is going to be a proofreader. And I also have the Sunday School's administration who's going to be helping me out with coordinating the presentations at their school and also reaching out to the other schools and youth groups to share that Google Drive that I was talking about.
Nice. So you're going to start, you're going to jump right into the project and start the implementation phase pretty soon. So which part or what area of this whole project are you personally most excited about?
I'm honestly really excited to do the research because I think there's so much information about Islam and mental health that connects both of them that I'm just not familiar with yet. And it's definitely something I'm looking forward to becoming well versed about. And I think it's so interesting to be able to combine two topics that I'm really passionate about and be able to see how both of them play off of each other and, learn more about that connection. Because I think that, as a Muslim teenager, it's so important to me that I understand how all of the things that I have to do in my life fit into my faith as well, or how my faith fits into those, just making sure that everything that I'm doing and seeing like how I can go about it in the best way with my faith. I think that's something that's really important to me. And I'm just super excited to see, or learn all that information, and it'll make me feel smart and it'll make me feel much more connected to not only my mental health but also to my faith. So that's
Mhm.
exciting for me.
Interesting. So while on the one hand, the research part and all of that is exciting, is there any part that you're nervous about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I definitely felt very nervous about the public speaking aspect of the project
Mm.
because at the beginning of high school, I really struggled with stage fright and I hated giving presentations. It was like my worst fear. But after I joined theater in my freshman year, and after participating in the program for multiple years, and I also held some leadership positions there, I feel way more comfortable like giving presentations and speaking up in front of people. I know how to make my voice heard and how to speak clearly, and I think the program definitely helped me a lot with that. And it's a little bit harder with kids because I'm going to be talking to mostly like middle schoolers and high school age kids, but it's still a lot harder to keep their attention, especially when you're speaking in a classroom. Because I think that, I mean, especially in Sunday school, I know, I mean, I've been there, I went to the same Sunday school. It gets to a point where sometimes you get, tired of going to school and then you have to come to Sunday school on the weekend too. And I understand that like fatigue. So I'm going to try to keep like little trivia games and stuff, maybe give out candy during the presentations, something that'll keep them engaged.
Mhm.
Because, I know better than anyone because I was in their seats that it can get boring and it can get tedious, but I want to make sure that this information is something they're actually going to learn and grasp and be able to carry forward. So I want to make sure that the presentations are engaging and it's just something that they can actually enjoy instead of just being like, oh my God, now there's another person that's lecturing us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. So you overcome that nervousness in terms of public speaking and those kind of things. So, but like we earlier discussed, you're going to go into college next year. So, how do you how do you think your initiative that you're taking now will pan out in the long term, right? How do you think it'll impact Muslim communities and continue keeping that impact going?
Yeah, I really intend for the Matters of the Mind and Heart initiative. I want it to have a lasting impact on the Muslim youth that are going to hear my message. And I want that message to be that, Islam and mental wellness, they're incredibly intertwined and
Mhm.
they're not mutually exclusive. And I want to inspire a generation of Muslim kids to be in tune with their mental health, to have a better attitude regarding those topics, and to be able to approach them easier, and to also pass that information and that attitude onto their families as well. Because I think it's important that people can have a better relationship with their families, with their parents, with their siblings, or even with their friends, and just be able to talk about these things more upfront. Because mental health is important, and the more we can discuss it openly, the more strong we're going to be in that aspect of ourselves and have better mental health just in general. And I think that being able to intertwine it with Islam too, it'll make I want to inspire a generation of kids who feels like you don't have to do one or the other. You don't just have to pray more. It's not going to do everything for you. I want to make sure that there are kids that understand, like, we can do both, and it's not going to be an issue, and it's going to be actually better for us to be able to pray and to take time and like journal and do things that'll make us feel better about our mental health as well.
Terrific. Nuha, very smart and very important initiative, I should say. Good luck to you with whatever you're doing, and for continued success in the path that you've chosen. And
Mhm.
good luck for college as well. So thank you so much for spending your Sunday morning and sharing these thoughts with us. Definitely, I'd like to see how it progresses. Right, I'd like to see you come back on Southern Quest maybe a year later, and we can assess how you've done and how the program's going.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Terrific. Nice to have you on Southern Spice. Thank you so much. Any parting thoughts you want to give to our viewers and listeners?
Just make sure you're taking time for yourself, and make sure that we're all paying attention, to our mental health and how, our well-being is. I think it's important to always just take some time to just think. Yeah,
Brilliant. Thank you, Nuha. Thanks for coming on Southern Spice. Talk to you soon.
thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, Nerle. So that was Nuha Sayeed from Southern California sharing her thoughts on this very important initiative, the Matters of the Mind and Heart initiative. So stay tuned. We'll come back to you with another interview very soon. Thanks for watching.